And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Hello, good afternoon to you, and welcome to Hard Facts, originally live on your number one talk news and sports radio station. We are 92.3 Nigeria Info in Herringport, Harcourt. I'm Dayo. 11 minutes gone past 3 p.m. and you're welcome once again. Many thanks for staying tuned. I hope you've had yourselves a fine Tuesday so far. Even though I do imagine for a number of persons it may not have been a very fine day. It's been raining all day, cats and dogs really, and horrible tales of terrible floods abound all over the place. You just need to open social media, check out Facebook, and you will see videos, and you will be traumatized really. I was going to say regaled, but that's wrong. You'll be traumatized by stories of the terrible effects of the floods in Port Harcourt. And if Port Harcourt is suffering this much, imagine what those flood-prone areas are going to be going through right now in Rivers State. Talking about those places and have the water bodies either running through them or around them. It's a terrible situation, no doubt about that. But in spite of the heavy downpour and the attendant floods, I hope that you're doing as well or as good as can be, nonetheless. I do hope you're doing good nonetheless. So welcome once again. From now till about 7, we keep the conversation going. A few matters we are discussing on the show today, and I implore you to join in at some point in the course of today's conversation. So I've got the side comment coming up. Side comment, yes indeed. Once again, will not be discussed now. Much later on, I suppose so, during the open season segment. And then I've got the rounds coming up. Now that we can discuss at about 4 p.m. as I'll take your thoughts on mine. 4 o'clock, pardon me, features the business news. And after that, let's see, Julius Berger workers on the receiving end again, allegedly. And this was on the news today, I believe, today. Now the police have reportedly shot and injured some protesting Julius Berger workers at the Boni Bodo NLNG project during a protest on Monday. According to some of the protesting workers, the Bori area commander, in company of the joint security personnel, disrupted a peaceful protest in demand of the welfare package from the company. Well, the Rivers State Police Command is yet to speak on the incident, but videos sent to Nigeria Info show some Julius Berger workers trying to move the injured workers. Well, understandably, it might take a while before intelligence begins to trickle in this matter. We know we have to conduct detailed investigation, and these things take time. These things do take time. But we'll be discussing that in the 4 o'clock hour. And I will not be mentioning who my guest will be for today's conversation, so that he or she may not disappear, you know. So that I may not get an SMS later on explaining to me that he or she may not be able to make the interview today because of his or her health or his or her safety, as the case may be, so that no black saloon car will pick up the individual or anything of that nature. So you will find out who my guest for that conversation will be in the 4 o'clock hour when I make that introduction in the 4 o'clock hour. And that's how it's going to work. And I think going forward, that's how it should work these days. In this era of people sending messages that they are not feeling well and they just disappear. Because those are the times that we are in right now. Remember the conversation yesterday about the shrinking civic space in Rivers State? All of the country, it is shrinking. But based on the SDN report, which was discussed elaborately yesterday, it is definitely shrinking and getting near the point of complete closure, if you will. Talking about a civic space in River State. So once again, you'll find out who that guest is in the 4 o'clock hour. And that takes us to 5. We've got the news update at 5 p.m. Let's see after that, what are we discussing next? Oh yeah, it's can the world have peace? Can the world have peace? That's a question. That is a question. Well, today is International Day of Peace, just in case you did not know. And what exactly does that even mean? International Day of Peace, really? Can the world, is there such a thing as world peace? You know, you hear that expression used ever so often, especially with I mean, no offense to anyone, and I do not say this in a derisive manner or a derogatory manner, but with contestants, beauty queens at beauty pageants, you know, world peace. You know, when the contestant or beauty queen is asked, so what do you want? So oh, I wish I had a microphone here. Okay, well, I do have microphones here, obviously. I mean, one I could hold. Okay, so the compere or the MC of the show, usually in some somewhat maybe slightly baritone voice, we go, so Miss whoever, if you win this Miss blah 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 pageant, what will you do with your office? And then you hear, and then she looks up at and waving her hand to the beauty queen way, and she says, you know, thank you very much for that question. I want to win this contest like everyone else. And if I win this, if I'm voted the winner of this contest, I will use my office to ensure world peace. Thank you. You know, and of course the entire audience is going to clap like she just said something extremely profound. Once again, no offense to beauty queens, and I really mean that. No offense to beauty queens, really. They do a great job, you know. So the entire audience claps like she just said. She just made a startling revelation. Something even Einstein would be proud of, you know. So yeah, world peace. Anyways, can the world truly have world peace? We'll be discussing that later on. In the 5 o'clock hour, that is after the news update. I'll be having a guest. Now I can mention my guest for that conversation because I don't think that she will disappear based on this conversation. Stephanie Epebolo Esquire will join me for that conversation. She is working for Family Sustainability Initiative, well, FASI. She'll be with me in the 5 o'clock hour for that conversation. Headlines 5:30, major news at 6 p.m. and open season comes up after that, and you will be the guest for the open season segment. If you miss out on discussing any of the matters up for discussion on the show today, including my side comments, you are welcome to join in at that period till about 7 o'clock. And I can mention that you are going to be the guest because there is no chance that you will disappear either. So I can freely mention that you will be the guest for that segment of the conversation till about 7 o'clock when we wrap it up. We got top of the hour, it's over. The sports gang will be in by about 7 for extra time. And I think we've got games tonight. Am I right? I think we've got EFL games tonight. Yep, I think we have EFL games tonight, so you can catch all the action with the sports gang for that one. Some Premier League teams are slugging it out tonight. I think a couple of them. We got Premier League thrillers as well. A couple of those games. Yeah, Norwich, Liverpool. I'm not sure, but I think that might be the only Premier League tie for this evening. But I'm sure of that one. Norwich, Liverpool tonight. So, well, join the Sports Gang by 7 o'clock. So that's the show for today. Any changes you will find out. Simply stay tuned. But we keep the conversation going right now with today's side comments. You know, random stories, random thoughts that I came across just a while ago. A reminder that these random stories and thoughts will not be discussed at this time. Now, remember I mentioned the floods earlier on. The ground flood, this was on the news earlier on. The ground floor of the Port Harcourt Mall is flooded following heavy rainfall this morning. The manager of the mall, Chima Okoye, said the flooding worsened after Julius Berger worked on the road in front of the mall. Now, speaking with our correspondent, she called for the company to return and do a proper job on the drainages. And, well, I don't think that the manager of the Port Harcourt Mall has been sponsored by the opposition. I don't think so. I don't think that this manager of the Port Harcourt Mall is politicizing the matter either. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I seriously doubt that the manager of the Port Harcourt Mall is trying to demarket River State or distract His Excellency for that matter. I seriously doubt that. I understand that. Yeah. I don't think the manager of Port Harcourt Mall either is trying to circumvent the work of Julius Berger, the good work, for that matter, that Julius Berger is doing in River State. I don't think so. But there are genuine concerns that have been expressed by several persons, or at least concerns that need to be looked into by the River State government. I doubt that any commissioner can write or can look into the matter. I doubt it. Because if they tried, so don't say that it was Dio that said it on air that you should look into it. Don't blame Dio tomorrow that Dio said that government should look into the construction work being carried out by Julius Berger or any other construction firm in the state for that matter. Okay, so don't look into it. So. Because you know what can happen. Because I don't know if a commissioner has the power to look into things like that. I don't know. I can't tell if a commissioner has the power to look into things like that. So you have to check first. Maybe you can check with the Attorney General first to determine if you have the power to look into things like that. Because if you look into things like that, that will be the last thing you ever look into. You may not be able to look into any other thing again. So let's be careful what we look into. But I hope His Excellency the Governor will look into it. There have been reports that some of this construction work, whilst it improves the aesthetics. The roads look finer. The roads are more passable. But there are concerns with what happens to the drainages afterwards, and that's a very critical matter. I can't forget in a hurry, even though it's some years ago, the incident with Impolu Junction. I believe that it made something major that aggravated the Impolu portion of the East-West Road was the what's the word I'm looking for right now? Was the fixing of the Obi-Wali Road. When that road was fixed, if I remember correctly, there was a major flooding situation after that road was fixed, the Obi-Wali Road, and I think that greatly affected the Impolu's Junction section of the East-West Road, which destroyed the entire place, but thankfully I think it's been fixed now. Years after, and sadly at least one person lost their lives on account of that road being in a terrible state that it was, and that's horrible indeed. So I hope His Excellency the Governor, I suspect strongly he's the only one that can look into anything that has to do with Julius Berger. So I hope His Excellency will look into that. To fixing the roads are good, but what is the aftermath? Are there consequences? Are there repercussions? What does it bring about? Floods? What about the drainages? We should look into these matters as well. Very important. And we also heard that major roads of Port Harcourt were flooded due to the heavy downpour. Vehicles were submerged on Abat Road, Peter Odili Road, NCA Road, Equerry Road, and some parts of GRA. And these are places where, at least some of these places, where construction work is going on the roads. This might be, it's not unlikely that it is completely unconnected, or it's not unlikely that it is somewhat connected, rather, to the ongoing construction or rehabilitation of some roads or flyovers. So, Your Excellency, let's look into that. But once again, to the commissioners, please be very careful. Don't look into things you may not have the powers to look into, or else. And there was, let's see, Chairman of Emoha Local Government Area, Dr. Judy Lloyd, has condemned the kidnapping of the expatriate working on the Trans-Calabari Road. Dr. Lloyd spoke as a guest on the Morning Crossfire today. Let's hear what he had to say on that matter once again. Just a moment. All right, here we are.
I was astonished that this could still be happening at this time, especially when someone has taken a bold step to actualize what had been the dream of the Calabari people, to wit the Trans-Calabari Road, and for anybody to go at this time to kidnap the staff of the company that's responsible for the construction of this road. It is shocking. But one begin to ask, what exactly do people want from their leaders? A man has shown only when someone has taken a bold step to actualize what had been the dream of the Calabari people, to wit the Trans-Calabari Road, and for anybody to go at this time to kidnap the staff of the company that's responsible for the construction of this road. It is shocking. But one begin to ask, what exactly do people want from their leaders? A man has shown goodwill, has shown commitment to make available certain sum of money to Lubric, and you are here kidnapping, taking his staff.
All right. I've spoken with the MOHA chairman a couple of times on the, what he's doing, efforts he's making to improve the security situation in that local government area. I believe in conjunction with other local government chairmen in Rivers State. Well, the fact of the matter is that whilst a lot of people are, glad that the road is being fixed, we're always going to have criminals amongst us. No matter how many roads we fix or how good the economy becomes, criminal elements are always going to be amongst us. What's important, or more important, is how we deal with them, what efforts we make at dealing with them. And the report also says that he said the police are training a vigilante group to patrol the Emoha Calabari Road to avoid a repeat of such incidents. We've also discussed the efforts that they're making in that regard. I hope that it does, this initiative does see the light of day as soon as possible. But beyond that, I hope that we will also apprehend those responsible for these acts. We'll identify them, we'll apprehend them, we will prosecute them. We will not extend the olive branch to them. We will not use carrot and stick approach. We will not beg them to we will not beg the irate youths, the disgruntled youths to sheath their swords. Then we'll beg community people to come back, and we have spoken to the youths to sheath their sword, and everything is fine now. No, I hope we will not do that. I hope we will deal with them in accordance with the law, bring them to book, so that it will serve as a warning, to a deterrent to others who may want to do something similar as well. But I hope that the contractors are released and unconditionally set free, reunited with their loved ones, and work can progress and continue, while these irate criminal youth elements are brought to book. So let's see, what else caught my attention today on the news? Was there anything else? Well, the matter with who collects VAT in the state is a raging one. I guess we'll give that some time. I'm sure there's going to be some new development regarding that in the coming days. I expect so. So let's just give that a while. Let's give that a while, I suppose. And to wrap up the side comment segment, very sad story from Bonny Local Government, as the Bonny Local Government Council has formally announced the death of its chairman, David Irimaga, who passed on in the early hours of Saturday at UPTH. The acting chairman, Dame Ndengi Barasua, in a statement, condoled with the family and council staff, and also said a condolence register is open at the Bonny Secretariat. And with its death, the council now gets its first female chairman. Deepest condolences to the people of Bonny Local Government area and the entirety of Rivers State and Nigeria, I suppose, and especially to the David Irimaga family. It must hurt to have lost a family member, and one who might as well be a supporter, you know, a comforter, if you will. I hope that the good Lord will grant the family and friends